Hey everybody, it's Ron from All Things Ron, and in this video is my September budget update. Now this is October the 1st, and on my previous video I did my budgeting in the middle of the month. I decided to realign everything, so I'm going to start going from the first of the month to the last of the month. But here's what we're going to cover in this video, so you know. We're going to cover my budget. We're going to go over that. I'm going to talk about some user comments I had on my previous budgeting video. I've developed a spreadsheet to keep track of my budget, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later on in the video, what I want to do with you. I'm looking for some beta testers. And I talked to my CFP about distributions of my 401k. And I also want to talk to you about home insurance and auto insurance and internet costs. So those are the things we're going to cover in this video, and we're going to get to most of those, but I'm first going to go through the budget for the month of September. So first, there's a little bit of disclaimer here on my budgeting, just so you know if you're watching this video. This is not a planning video or a speculation video. This is a real life video. This is real life what I spend in my household every month. This is the second one I've done, so I learned a lot from the first one. So I'm just showing you what it's like to be a Social Security recipient and to live on Social Security for the most part only, okay? That's what my goal is here with these videos. So let's go through the budget real quick. This is for September of 2025, and if you've seen my previous video, you'll notice that there are some changes here, and we did actually do a little bit better this month than we did last month. I'm kind of learning as I go here. So I have changed the way I present the budget. I've added some details here. There was a few user comments about property taxes and things like that. So you know, I've added the actual cost into my monthly expenses, all right? So let's start off right here at the top. Groceries this month was $750. I did a better job of breaking that out. Last month, I think I reported $865. So we did a little bit better this month. My household items, these are things like cleaning supplies and paper towels, toilet paper, that kind of thing. That's what's under the household category. That was $91 this month. I'm still got an auto payment. I'm still paying on my pickup truck until December the 5th. So I've got October the 5th, November, I got 3 more months of payments, and then that truck payment will go away. I'll have that paid off completely. Now, I broke down my auto and home insurance separately. Last month I reported to you that I was spending approximately $400 a month. So I went and looked at it exactly. We're spending for 2 vehicles, okay? We're spending $125 a month for auto insurance, and that's with the Farm Bureau of Tennessee. Later on in the video, I'm going to tell you what I did, okay? What I'm doing, and I'm looking at my insurance, okay? I'm looking at my insurance costs, and I'm getting some quotes. My home insurance is $208 a month, and I think I reported to you in the last video, after talking to my agent, we feel like that we are underinsured, so we're probably going to increase the insurance amount on our home, okay? Property taxes, that was one of the comments I got the most of. What, don't you have property taxes? How much are your property taxes? Well, here in Tennessee, where I live in the county, we have city water and we have natural gas available. We don't have all the other amenities and what have you, like sewer and garbage pickup and those kind of things, okay? But my property taxes, I just got my property tax bill, which is going to be due in February for 2025. It was $447. So I broke that out into a monthly amount. $37 a month is what I pay in property tax. Yeah, that's the real deal, okay? I know a lot of you are paying a lot more in other states, okay? But that's what we pay here in the county here in Crossville, Tennessee. Home repairs. I spent some money on some home repairs last month, and that's just things to do with the home outside. You know, it might be gasoline for the lawnmower, those kind of things. I think I had some gutter work I did outside. I spent $91 on home repair last month. gasoline for our vehicles. Now last month my gasoline was a lot higher. It was about $365, I think. And I explained to you why that was like that. And it was because I was doing a lot of driving helping my parents move. And if you've been a subscriber to the channel, you've seen the videos of us setting up a mobile home on our property to take care of our parents or help take care of our parents. Anyways, we spent on our two vehicles $240 a month. Now to some of you that may seem high, okay? And I agree, it may seem high if you didn't go nowhere. But you know, my hobby is photography, is something I love to do. I do drive quite a bit in my truck to go do my hobby. To do other things, walking and going to the gym and things like that. So it's like 10 miles to the gym from here. So we do spend a little bit more for gasoline than most people might spend. I did watch a video today and I thought it was pretty interesting about some things that you might decide to give up when you retire. And one of the things in that video, I think it was 5 things in that video, and one of the things in that video was a second vehicle. We are not to that point yet where we can get rid of a second vehicle, but it might someday, never know. Okay, then the last item on the major type housing expenses, the auto repairs. So we spent $25 on auto repair, and I'm gonna tell you what that was for, okay? My wife, she goes to the car wash, all right, and she pays Zips $25 a month, and she goes whenever she wants to. It's just a thing. She likes to clean car, and I'm really not into washing cars here. We have a gravel parking lot, gravel driveway, and I don't want to drag out the garden hoses and all that, so that's a luxury that she does on her own. So the total for this column right here, and I've broken this down into 4 sections, the total for this column right here was $2,017, and I put the total right there at the bottom. Now what we're going to do is move right over to utilities, which is on this side of the chart here. Let me move this just a little bit so you can get a better view of that, okay? The utilities are listed over here in this box. So this month we paid $153 for electric. It's been hot here in Tennessee. We have been running the air conditioner, so that's about normal for us. Our water bill this month was $22, which is really reasonable. And then the natural gas is the minimum. If you're not using natural gas, you have to pay a minimum each month. And we pay a $9 minimum during the summertime. That will change. I think I explained that in the previous video. That will fluctuate. Our electricity will go down in the wintertime and our gas bill will go up. But we mostly pay around $160 a month, be it electric or gas in the wintertime. Just depends on what we're using at the time. The internet cost, now don't be alarmed, okay, I'm making a change. The internet cost is $196 this month, and the reason why is this. Our Comcast, it runs us $135 a month for unlimited internet. That's unlimited data, high speed, one gig. Okay, is it 1 gig? Yeah, I think it's 1 gig. I am changing. I'm changing to another company that has provided fiber optic service up my road, and we will be reducing our costs. I had to pay the first month in advance for the new service, and they're coming on October the 8th to put it in, and then I'll be canceling my Comcast. So the new service is only going to cost me $60 a month. So you'll see on the next video I do for budgeting where my internet cost has actually come down almost in half. It's going from $135 down to $60 a month for the same kind of service. Probably better because we're doing fiber optics instead of cable, okay? Anyways, that's why it's a little bit higher this month than it was last month. And then our cell phones with Cricket, for both of us, unlimited data, we're still paying $80 for both phones a month, okay? And that's like a prepaid plan. There's no contract. You can cancel that at any time. So our utility cost in this area here was $460. Now let's get down, I'm going to cover insurance in just a minute. Let's get down here to this area right here, which is kind of like charity and things like that. So charity is tithing to the church, and there were some things that my wife did. We spent $139 last month on charity. Dining out went up, and the reason why is we splurged one day, and we actually took one of my wife's girlfriends to dinner, and we went to Longhorn, and we all had a really nice meal, and it was about $111 for the 3 of us. So $203 this month, that is not typical for us. Normally we don't spend that kind of money eating out, okay? Entertainment, $25. My wife went up with her girlfriends. She went to the movies, and you know, there was a little bit of eating out in there for her movie trip also, but I think it was $25 to go to the movies. I thought it was kind of expensive. I told her it was $25. I'm making a change on my Amazon and Zoom. I'm currently spending $34 a month, okay? I have canceled my Zoom, my paid Zoom account. I'm gonna save $17 a month there. So we're gonna probably cut that in half, okay? So next month I'll just have my Amazon Prime, and I'm actually considering doing away with Amazon Prime also, okay? I haven't done that yet, but I'm considering doing that, okay? Hobbies, $108 for hobbies. That's my photography hobby. It might be, you know, I bought something or did something, okay? And then miscellaneous, okay? I have to go pull up my spreadsheet on miscellaneous, but those are things that I just cannot account for. They're just things that kind of, we go to the store and pick up. You know, it's not really part of the other areas, and I can't give you an example. I think, like, you know, if I go to the store and buy my mom something for, if she needs bread or something like that, I don't count that stuff at all. So now let's cover the insurances. Now, one of the things that, one of the comments that was also brought up in the last video I did, and I've corrected it, is I did not include my Plan B costs. And that's because I was dealing with a net Social Security amount. This time I decided to deal with my gross Social Security. I'm going to reveal that in this video, but I wanted to go through my insurance plan. My plans, for me, I have a Plan B, which is $185. It's your Medicare Plan B. I have a Plan D drug plan, which is $43 a month. And then my Plan G supplemental insurance is $121 a month. My wife, her Plan B is also $185 a month. She does not have a Plan D cost. Her Plan D drug cost is free. I have some high dollar drugs that I take. Some tier 4 they call them. And then her Plan N, which is like my Plan G, except she has a Plan N, is $83. We pay a total of insurances, personal insurance, is $617 a month. That's a pretty good chunk of change. Now we are approaching open enrollment period. I have already started to get some emails from my plans, and I don't know if there's going to be an increase in any of those, but if there are, they will be included in the next video. So yeah, I just kind of want to bring that up. You know, the Plan B for most people in the United States that are on Medicare, if you have the Plan A and then you get the Plan B, they will hold it out of your Social Security check, out of your gross Social Security earnings, $185 a month. That's currently this year, 2025. Don't know if that's going to change or not. And then let's go down here to these other items down here. Hygiene, $15. You know, I don't know. That's, you know, some stuff my wife got to take care of her teeth or something. Out-of-pocket doctor expense this month was $0. We didn't have any. Out-of-pocket drugs and vitamins, okay, supplements, $71 a month. We buy most of our supplements either from Walmart, and I get a few from Amazon, okay? And, you know, I take 3 or 4 different supplements. I take a B12, a D3, a Caltrate. I'm also taking a, what's it called, COQ3 for heart health, that kind of stuff. So those are kind of pricey. Clothing. I did buy some clothing articles this month. I decided to break those down for you. I spent $65 on some clothing articles. What did I buy? Oh, some new jammy pants. Some new jammy pants and a pair, a new package of socks from JCPenney. So I spent $65 on that. And then pet care. People were asking me about pet care. We do have a barn cat. Her name is Kitty Kitty. She was an orphan and my wife adopted her. She'd been around for about 11 years. But we do buy some things for her, some cat food, and I've started to break those out of the budget so they were not included in the food portion of the budget. So that's about it for us. Now this is my actual expenses, okay? Your mileage may vary. You may have some different expenses that I don't know about that you have, but this pretty much covers the majority of people out there. And like I said, we are on Social Security only, and we are not drawing from our 401k yet. And I'm going to explain that to you in just a minute in this video. But what I want to do is I want to turn this around to the other side. Okay, and I'm going to show you my totals. So for September 2025, our total income from Social Security for both me and my wife was $43.78. That's gross. And our expenses totaled out at $4,041, which left us $337 extra. Okay. So I thought we did pretty good because last budget video, we were in the negative. We were like down a couple $100. And some of you questioned me about that. Now, I do want to tell you this, okay? There are going to be some things, let me turn this around again. There are going to be some things that are going to change, okay? And they're going to go down. One of them is, in a couple months, this car payment's going to go away, all right, for $450. Our internet is going to drop in half. We're going to save $60 there, okay? And then let me see what else we got here. Dining out will not be as expensive next time, all right? I don't expect it to be $200. So there's going to be some changes here. And of course, we don't know what's going to happen to the supplemental insurances, okay? But this is our budget. This is our actual expenses. Like I said in the beginning of the video, this is not speculation or planning purposes. This is real life. This is what I actually spend to live on Social Security. Now, I'm going to put this up after you get a chance to look at it for a minute, and then we're going to have a talk about some of the things that I found out this month. Okay, I moved over to my desk so I could kind of talk to you about some things a little bit now that we're done with the budget portion of the video. And this is a little bit more extensive than my last video, but I did want to go over a few things. So first off, I went and talked to my CFP, my Certified Financial Planner. Actually, I called him on the phone and talked to him about IRA distributions. And we had a conversation. It was a very good one. And he explained to me that, you know, the theory behind taking distributions, okay? I guess if that's what you want to call it, theory. But what he said to me was, if you have specific things you want to do, like go on vacation or do something fun, go on a cruise, and you needed funds to do that with, then that was a good thing to take a distribution on. But he said if you were just going to take money out and then move it over to your checking account or your savings account, then he said that was not a really good reason to do that. And I believe what he said, okay? I'm going to be 68 in a couple weeks. You know, I've got till 73 for required minimum distributions to kick in. I really don't think I'm going to have a trouble spending some money. I am going to start taking distributions next year. I'm not too sure if I'm going to do them monthly, quarterly, or every 6 months. I haven't decided that yet. But one of the reasons I haven't done it to date, first off, we haven't needed it. I've done pretty well just living on Social Security. But the other reason is my wife took a very big distribution earlier this year. They did hold out the taxes on it to get some dental work done, some long-term dental work that she's been wanting to do. Well, basically, I'll just tell you what it was, okay, because she doesn't watch my videos anyways, but she got implants, okay? She wore dentures and she got implants. And that was very expensive, all right? But she wanted to do that, and I wanted her to do that, okay? And she did have the money to do that. So anyways, the CFP said don't just be taking out the money just to be taking it out unless you're going to go and live on it, or if you're going to do fun things. If you're just going to take it out and put it in your savings account or put it in which is not gaining any interest at all, you know. Now, I would tell you this. It was the best decision I ever made getting a certified financial planner, all right? I do pay a fee for that. It's not very much, but So far, my 401k, since I moved it from the company I worked for into his hands, it has grown. It has grown quite a bit, which I'm very pleased about. So if you are thinking about retiring and you do have a 401k at work or some kind of other thing, retirement, you might want to consider the benefits of having a certified financial planner. Believe me, it took a lot of convincing to get me there. My wife talked to me a little bit, and I was just kind of reluctant to pay somebody to do this for me. But you know what? I'm glad I did, okay? And he's a very nice fellow, and hey, I pay him. I can call him on the phone and ask him a question anytime, and he will, call me back and talk to me, and that's great. I like having somebody I can talk with and deal with. Now, the next subject I want to talk to you about is insurance. But before I hit the insurance thing, I want to say one thing to you, okay? I'm talking to you, okay? Do not be brand loyal. Let me repeat that. Do not be brand loyal. I am very guilty of that. I am brand loyal person, okay? I like stability. I like knowing where I'm going and all that kind of things. But sometimes being brand loyal can cost you more money. And that goes for anything. I'm talking about food, cars, insurance, any of that stuff. And what we're going to touch on is the insurance part of that, okay? After the last video and some comments about things, I decided to do some shopping. And I went down first to the Tennessee Farm Bureau, and I have been brand loyal for maybe 35 or 40 years, okay? And their insurance is gotten kind of pricey. So I went down and did some investigation on that with one of the agents, because you don't have an agent anymore. I used to have a person that I would call and talk to. You just call down there and get whoever on the phone, okay? And I had to talk to them about my policy, and they were actually the ones that kind of made me aware that I might be underinsured on my home. Now, if you have home insurance and you've had the same pretty much coverage you've had since COVID, since 2021, you might want to look at that amount you've got, because the new construction price of homes these days is, in Tennessee anyways, around where I live, is $250 to $300 a square foot. I live in a 1,600 square foot home. You can do the math. So when we looked at the figure I was insured for, he said, "You're a little bit underinsured, for replacement value." And I said, "Yeah." I said, "It does look that way, doesn't it?" So we ran some figures and what have you, and did some checking on that. And I left there. I didn't make a decision. I didn't make any changes at Farm Bureau. What I did was I decided to go get a second opinion, okay? Like going to a doctor, getting a second opinion. So I went right across the street, literally right across the street to State Farm. And I talked to the nice lady over there, and she worked me up some quotes based on the new value of the home and some automobile insurance quotes. So their State Farm's automobile insurance was about $800 a year cheaper than Farm Bureau's auto insurance, which I went, wow, that's a lot of money. And then when she re-quoted the house insurance at the new value that I told her to quote it at, and they got a lot of endorsements on there. I'm not gonna go through them all, but you can do this yourself. And there's a thing now, they got insurance on your systems in your home. I didn't know that. I didn't know this. You can get insurance on for your water heater, your air conditioner, your gas heater. I don't know if the appliances are included or not, but there's insurance you can buy now on your systems in your home. I mean, if you have a water leak, they'll cover that. I don't know if they'll cover a septic problem or a sewer problem, but I didn't go into the details of what these endorsements were. That was just one endorsement, and it was a reasonable amount. It was like $35 a year to cover that for that kind of insurance, and I didn't know that kind of insurance existed until I went and started getting quotes on my home insurance. Anyways, I received a quote from State Farm. Like I said, the auto was way cheaper than the Farm Bureau. The house insurance was slightly higher, but I was not comparing the endorsements from State Farm to the endorsements with Farm Bureau. So if I had the same endorsements, they may be equal, okay? And there is a slight discount for having your auto policy and your home policy in one place. You know, I think it's at Farm Bureau, it's like 8% discount for having your auto insurance there also. So anyways, I still have work to do to get the costs down, and reducing your deductibles is one way to do that. So I'm working on reducing my home and my auto insurance, and I just wanted to let you know that that's something you may want to check yourself. Now, while we're on the subject of insurance, I want to tell you something I heard the other day. I was watching a video that popped up with people in Florida. People in Florida that do not owe any money on their homes are self-insuring. They cannot afford home insurance in Florida. It's gone skyrocket. In fact, this one video I watched, this one couple who did this, their insurance went up like $5,000 a year. And what they decided to do is they decided to self-insure. And what they've been there like 25, 30 years. Their house has never been destroyed by a hurricane or anything. Lucky people. But they decided to self-insure. And but what they were doing is they were taking the money they were paying for home insurance and they were putting it in the bank, not touching it, in case they had to make a major repair, like a roofing replacement or something like that. And I guess over the last 10 or 12 years they've been doing this, they've saved a pretty good chunk of money. I think the man mentioned it was like $70,000 or $80,000. Now that won't cover him if his house is destroyed, so he's kind of rolling the dice. But the statistics show in Florida, 12 to 15% of the people in Florida are self-insured. They're not buying home insurance on their homes. And you know, the Florida cost is going up. They said this year it was going to go, the home insurance in Florida was going to raise 30%. This got me to thinking, okay, and I kind of touched on this with my wife. Now my wife worked in insurance, okay, she worked for an insurance firm for 25, 30 years, so she does know about insurance. Anyways, I kind of brought kind of brought it up to her about self-insuring, and we got to talking about it a little bit. Now, I'm not considering doing that, but I wanted to let you know that there is a movement in this country with people who are doing that. And I think it's pretty amazing myself, because if you think about it, how much you're actually paying for insurance. I've been paying home insurance on this home for 25 years, and it's, you know, you kind of think to yourself about that a little bit. If you don't have a mortgage, this is an option, okay? You can't do this on your auto insurance, that's illegal. But on your home insurance, you could become self-insured if you feel like you want to do that. And one more thing about brand loyal, okay? This is what I'm talking about. Don't be brand loyal. My Comcast. Now I had two options here. I could have the phone company, or I could have Xfinity Comcast. And we have had Comcast for a number of years. You know, and it was costing us $135 a month. No contract, okay? There's no contract on it. And that's for unlimited data. We do a lot of streaming here, 1 gig service. Anyways, I started checking around a little bit, and based on some comments made by you all, and I found out that there's a cheaper option. So I'm switching on October the 8th. I was paying $135 with Comcast. I'm now going to be paying $60 a month with Ben Lomond, which is fiber optics. So I'm really excited about that, and I can't wait to get that new internet service here. So when I make a video for you all, I can upload it a lot quicker, okay? Because sometimes my internet slows down quite a bit in here at the house. We've got a couple security cameras on Wi-Fi and the computers and the tablets and what have you going on. There's probably about 10 or 15 devices on my Wi-Fi here at the house. Now, the next to the last thing I want to cover this evening is this, okay? I got my 2026 Medicare book in the mail the other day, and I talked about this in the last video, all right, or one of my previous videos. It might have been the video after the budgeting video where I kind of took some of the user comments and made them into a video. But if you are retired, you should be getting one of these in the mail. And if you open up to the very first page up here, and I kind of highlighted it a little bit, There are some things that are new this year and some things you want to go over. And I'm not going to really go into detail about that, but I am going to tell you that if you have a Medicare drug coverage, Part D, your yearly out-of-pocket Part D drugs will be capped at $2,100 in 2026. I think it was $2,000 in 2025. I'm not sure. Once you reach this cap, you won't have to pay a copayment or co-insurance for covered Part D drugs for the rest of the calendar year. Now, I have a very expensive drug I'm on for my Crohn's disease. It costs a lot of money. I will be paying my $2,100 in January. When January 1st comes around. I had to do it last year. I had to pay $2,000. I think it was $2,000. So I will meet my yearly out-of-pocket expense right off the get-go, okay? These are from my Part D drug plans. And there's some pages in here you want to you want to get this book, okay? And read it a little bit and kind of understand it. And I kind of went through my book, and I haven't gone through the whole thing yet, but I'm going to. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a separate video on this Medicare book and some of the things you want to look at if you're getting ready to retire, or you're like me, you've already retired and you're kind of watching things. Okay, one last thing, and then I'm going to end this video. All right, I have been developing a spreadsheet, an Excel spreadsheet. I think you can use it on Google also, for this budgeting stuff I did earlier in the video. I'm looking for a couple beta testers that want to kind of beta test it for me and see if I'm on the right path and how it works for you. This is not for budgeting purposes. This is for kind of like real life, keeping track of what money you're spending if you're already retired. So if you are interested in becoming one of those beta testers, I will take your email. And if you look in the description of this video, I will leave my email address there. You can email me, and I would be glad to send you this and kind of help you. I'm just going to do a few people. I'm not going to do a whole bunch of people, because I'm going to try to help you through this and make sure you can use the spreadsheet and see if there's any improvements that I need to do to that spreadsheet before I offer that to the general public. I found that doing the spreadsheet was going to be easier to keep track of things. You know, a long time ago, I used to use QuickBooks. I think it was called QuickBooks for your checkbook. And before debit cards, you know, you had to balance your checkbook almost all the time, all right? Because you really didn't have the instant feedback that we do from debit cards these days. So when you use Quicken, you could put in a check. Okay, let's say it was for your electric bill, and you could give it a category. And then at the end of the month, you could print out a category report that would show you every single detail. In fact, if you went to Walmart and bought groceries and then some household items, you could split that category under that check. It was pretty cool. But over the years, I got away from using QuickBooks, and I didn't see a need for it anymore to keep a check register like that. Not with the instant feedback of debit cards and stuff. And I think most of you probably have figured that out for yourself. I know my mom, it was very difficult to get her to realize that she didn't need to use QuickBooks anymore. And she finally did. But I said, you know, with debit card usage and stuff, it doesn't really matter. Your feedback is instantaneous. Now, there's still occasions that my mom will write a check. We don't write maybe 1 or 2 checks, you know, once in a while, maybe for the car insurance or something like that. But, you know, that's not a big deal either. Anyways, that's it for this month. And I really appreciate y'all being on the channel. I was shown a lot of love last month. I gained so many new subscribers last month. I think it was something like 800 in 1 month. And it was all from that one video, that one budgeting video, which tells me it's something that you all are interested in seeing is the budgeting side of my life, okay? So anyways, share this with your friends. Let them know about this. You know, give the video a thumbs up. And if you're not a subscriber, then my question is, why aren't you? Okay, you need to be a subscriber to All Things Ron. Hey, listen. We'll talk to y'all later. We'll see you. Bye-bye.